Hey guys, what's going on? Rob again. Decided to make another video. I'm putting some new plastics on my B5, some new arms, hinge pins and stuff, and you can see there putting some new seat hubs and stuff on, little bushings that go in the top of the seat hubs. But I want to do a little video because just like a little maintenance tips, tricks, hints, how to type of stuff. I talk to people now and then, and they'll say, we'll just talk about maintenance on it, and I'll say stuff like, "Oh yeah, I always grease my hinge pins. I grease my hinge pins. I grease my axles and my CVAs and stuff." They're like, "What? Like, what do you mean like grease and stuff? Especially if it's somebody that's new to RC or new to racing. What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, one, the reason I do it, it cuts down on, whenever you have moving parts. I mean, this will be nothing new to a lot of you guys, but some of you guys, maybe it will. But whenever you have moving parts, especially if it's metal against metal, like your out drives, your CVAs, your axles, even hinge pins, that hold the arm on, to the chassis and stuff, and I mean all that stuff, that's all moving parts. That's friction. And anytime you can cut down on the friction is going to give you better longevity of the parts, and it's going to make your car or your truck or whatever you're running run smoother. It's kind of a no-brainer, but sometimes people, like I said, especially people that's new to the hobby, they don't think about little things like this, until somebody with more experience will say, "Hey, this is what I do," and they're like, "Oh yeah, that does make sense. That will cut down on friction." And if you're not taking time to do stuff like this, well, one, if you're a racer, how serious are you about being competitive if you're not taking time to do little things like this, to make your kit run smoother? If you're a basher, especially if you're a basher, you're outside running in snow, mud, water, you want to take care of your stuff. It's common sense. You want your stuff to run smooth and last a little longer. Little stuff like this, because you can see that little silver mark right there. That's wear. That's wear and tear. Metal against metal. These marks in here. That's wear and tear. All that stuff is wear and tear. You can see it on the hinge pins. See the hinge pins? Wear and tear. Even though this is metal against a plastic A-arm, that's still wear and tear. But what I do is now, I like using, on the stuff like the hinge pins and the CVAs, what I do, I know that this piece isn't in here yet, but I'll just go ahead and show you. What I basically do is I'll dip the knuckle head and the knuckle in like that, and then I'll smooth it out with my finger a little bit, put everything back together, and now see, that grease is going to form a nice little, it's going to cut down on friction in there. And like I said, I do that to these hinge pins, the bushings like this that go in the top of the knuckles, even though it's plastic against plastic, that's still friction every time you turn left and right. I've had this stuff since 98, 99, when I used to have all my motorcycles and stuff, because it's automotive, marine, motorcycle. Basically, this is stuff like you pack bearings with and all that. It's just blue grease. If you don't have to go out and buy this stuff, but I recommend it. It works really well. I haven't put new arms on here or done any of this or re-greased, like these hinge pins in probably 6 months maybe, and the grease is actually still on there from the last time. So this stuff holds up really well. But if you don't have this, or you don't want to go out and buy it, or let's say you're doing maintenance like soon, like, and you're not gonna have a chance to go get this stuff, you can use the black grease that comes in the kits, or like the silicone, the clear silicone diff oil and stuff. You can use that because I actually use the clear silicone on the end here when I put everything back together, and this part goes into the outdrive. I'll put a glop and I'll smooth it out with my finger of the clear silicone grease. I could just use that, but for some reason I always did the silicone on there. But you don't have to use this stuff, but I do recommend it. But you can use the black grease that comes in the kit. You can use the clear silicone grease that comes in the kit. Anything that's a good, thick lubricant is what you're going to want to use on stuff like I just showed you here, how I dipped that. You're going to want to use something thick, here. The hinge pins, you could use bearing oil, but I'd probably go a little bit thicker. But anything that's going to provide, lubricant. You want to keep your parts, so you can see how that outdrive is real glossy. I just put that side back together, so that's all nice and greased in that joint. It's going to make your stuff run smoother. You're going to cut down on friction. I'm not saying this is going to make you, if you're a racer, I'm not saying this is going to make you a second or two faster, but a smoother car, you can go faster with a smoother car. But even if you're a basher, stuff like this, it just makes your parts last and everything runs smooth. That's what it's all about, running smooth, maintenance. Always perform your maintenance. Don't neglect. And someone actually told me stuff like I just showed you, like greasing all this stuff. Oh, that's too time consuming. Well, if you don't have time to do it, then maybe you chose the wrong hobby. If you can't spend a little time, kits aren't cheap. If you're investing money in stuff like this, you want to take care of it. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video. Greasing parts, lubricating parts. Like I said, I would recommend blue grease like this. You don't have to. And yep, that's it. Just a little quick video.